Good evening, everyone. How are we doing today? I hope you are having a fantastic night, and I hope you had a great day today. We're going to do another installment of Brian's Breakdown. This is the third episode. Hope that you've been enjoying our chats here, and hope that you've been learning something. That's what this is all about. So what is Brian's Breakdown? Well, Brian's Breakdown is a segment that I like to do where I drink a beer, we have a chat, and we all learn something. So, the first episode we talked about was we talked about anger, and in the last episode we talked about lying, and today we are going to talk about routines and how they help, or how they can help. So, what is a routine? A routine is something that we do on a consistent basis. Some might call it a repetitive basis. Something that we can look forward to, that we can do over and over again, that can bring us the same or similar result. And so, of course, we don't want to be falling into negative routines. We want positive routines. So, this life and each day, there's a lot going on. Okay? There's a lot to think about. There's a lot to do. There's a lot that needs to be done. So if we wake up every day and we kind of just have no sense of management, it can easily get away from us and become very overwhelming. So we really want to focus on establishing some sort of a routine on a daily basis that we can rely on, that is positive, that is helpful, something that we can look forward to doing and know that it's going to help bring us success. Many of us may have routines that are playing out right now that maybe we don't even realize that we're doing. Maybe there's something that you do every morning at the same time, or every evening at the same time, or maybe there's certain days that you do specific things every week, right? Every week on those days you do specific things. In a sense, these are routines. They're things that we kind of have planned out that we are going to commit to doing. So what I would like to talk about today is more of a daily routine. Something that we can use to help us get through each day. Something I learned a long time ago, and it's a good way to think about things, is there's a lot that can happen from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed. It's really crazy. You know, some days can be so quote-unquote uneventful and feel like nothing happened today. Not in my life. In my life for the last several years, every day has just been something to write about, let's just say. But I remember those days. I remember where there's these days that feel almost like, you know, it's just another day. You know, it's nothing changed, nothing happened. There's other days, though, that there's just so much going on. And it's like we don't even have time to process what's going on. And so what I found myself at a point is that I was trying to get through the day moment by moment, and having this idea of staying positive and those types of things, having positive intentions, which is what we want to do. But there would be times where some of these moments would, there's things that come up or there's things that happen that we can't expect. This is the thing when it comes to planning. Outkast has a very perfect line in one of their songs that says, "We can plan a pretty picnic, but we can't predict the weather." And I love that saying because it's so true in life, is that we can have all the thoughts and expectations and beliefs that we want, but sometimes it doesn't go the way that we thought it would or the way that we planned. Also, the Rolling Stones, you can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. But if you try, sometimes you get what you need, right? So there's this theme in life that we can have all the expectations and do all the planning, but really there's this grander plan that's at play here, and it's kind of like we're all falling in line with that, and every move and action that we take kind of funnels us back into line with that grander plan. So the idea was, it became very difficult because I'd feel so much success throughout the day, and then something might happen and it would just it would just kind of ruin the day. One of those, something that comes up and maybe makes you angry, or something you do that you kind of regret or something like that. And it became tough because I would work so hard, and but something, I don't know, I think it was just my own thinking, and I was just thinking like, when I go to bed at night, I think it was maybe because it was one of those days, and I'm going to bed at night and I'm realizing that, like, in that moment I was happy. And I said this is all it is. I said, if we can get ourselves to bed at night, laying in bed and feeling happy, if we're going to bed, we can actually have a smile on our face, then that's the win. It doesn't matter necessarily what the events are that took place in between. Of course, that's the experience and it matters. But what I'm saying is, instead of focusing on 100 different moments throughout the day and having to make sure that they're all positive, let's just focus on making sure that, hey, by the end of the day today, when I'm going to bed, by the time I'm ready for bed, that I'm in a happy place. And what that means is, if I am in a happy place by the time I'm going to bed, that means, at least for the moment, everything's in order, and I don't have any issues on my hand, and I have nothing to feel bad about. So it took this pressure off of like having to make sure every moment was perfect, or trying to be as positive as possible, and having this mindset of, let's just let the day play out, kind of like in more of a flow. And let's just have a mindset of having this intention of finishing out my day in a happy place. And what I found is that it took a lot of pressure and weight off of myself throughout the day. And what it also did is, it kind of, as the day went on, if and when things came up now that were negative in nature, I would sit there and I would be able to remind myself, hey, if I buy into this, or I feed into this, or I become angry because of this, or I react negatively because of this, am I going to be finding myself in a happy place tonight? Or when I go to bed? No, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to keep doing what needs to be done and making the right choices to make sure that that intention and that vision I had of myself, finding myself in that happy place at night, comes to fruition, and I manifest that in my own life, right? So it helped be a navigator as well, by just having that simple mindset. So not sure if, sometimes I say we get off track, but again, it's not getting off track. It's where the conversation leads us. And I'm not sure exactly, if that was supposed to come back full circle somewhere, or if that was just, some information and a good tip as far as just from day to day, is just having this mindset of, what, if I can be in a happy place at the end of the day, then that's the win. That's the win. We're not looking for 100 different wins throughout the day. We're looking for one win, which is being in a positive place at the end of the day, as best as we can be. Obviously, there's certain things in our life that are, out of our control, so to speak, or where they're because of time issues or space or distance issues, is that we feel like, oh, it's not right now, or it's, like we're waiting on something, right? But at least for the moment, I'm in a happy place. I'm in the best place that I can be given the circumstance. And that's what we want to focus on. So, that's your challenge. Is, let's just say, for the rest of this week, through the weekend until next Monday. Today is Tuesday, so 6 days. Is challenge yourself. I want you to kind of envision yourself in the morning. When you wake up in the morning, I want you to envision yourself heading to bed at the end of the night, however that is for you, where you're turning the light off and you're getting into bed. And I want you to envision yourself getting into bed and smiling and feeling happy and proud of yourself. And your challenge is to make sure that whatever choices and actions and reactions you make throughout the day align with that result. And see if you can find yourself crawling into bed, turning the light off, and smiling that evening. And then you can just let yourself know, hey, you did it, all based on an intention. You manifested all of this to happen because you wanted it to. So, there's a daily challenge for you. So back to routines. I don't sit here and schedule out my day as far as things I'm going to do every day. I don't have like a planner or a calendar that I don't do that. It's funny, is before 2019 is kind of where I started my path of really focusing spiritually and on the bigger picture of things. And but prior to that, I was just, I was like most people, where I'd have a calendar and I would just fill in all these things I was going to be doing in the weeks and months ahead. And oh my goodness, it was exhausting. I literally felt like I never had any time off because I was just looking to the next thing that we had to do, the next thing I had to do, the next thing I had to do. And it was, man, ever since 2019, now we're talking 5 years now, I have not done that. I keep a calendar to reference the day, but I don't mark things on it. And it's been so relieving. Again, all these things we can do that we think we have to do, or it's part of what we need to do. If we can do things like this, like wipe your calendar, and you know what? Of course you're going to live your life, and things come up and events happen and things, and when those things happen, of course take note of it. But it doesn't mean we need to sit here and literally plan our entire year ahead and have to sit there and force and commit that, oh, I can't do anything this next weekend because 2 months ago I planned this thing. Like, it's exhausting. And what you'll find is that when you start living on this path more of like this flow, is you'll find that, man, I was really selling myself short and cutting myself out of so many different experiences that I should have had and could have had I had been in the right place at the right time. And I would have been, had I not forced myself to be living on this rigid schedule. This is not what it's about. We don't want this rigid schedule and this time frame and this itinerary that we have to live by. Like, you're not getting your full experience because you're dictating, I'm going to be at this place and this place and this place and this place, and doing this. When does life have an opportunity to say, hey, Brian, we wanted to surprise you over here with this thing. We can't do that now because you wanted to go be at your whatever it was, So we have to clear the calendars. Okay, there's another challenge for you. Can you do it? Can you clear your calendar and just kind of live in the flow, take note of the things that are important, but not have to plan every week, every day, every month? Can we do that? Challenge, another challenge. Not to get off topic, but anyone that's watching has been noticing that in these Brian's Breakdown videos, you see me drinking and smoking. And this came up in conversation, and, you know, I'm not trying to put on an act, and I'm not trying to portray myself as some thing that's the same thing every time, and this is all that you see of Brian. The way when it was coming up with conversation, I said, if you were to come spend a year living with me, this is the side of me you'd also see. This is more something maybe in the evening time, late at night, that you'd see that you wouldn't see during the daytime when, I do a lot of my other videos and all things like that. So, a lot of people would try to hide certain aspects of their life, or not want people to have impressions of them in certain ways. And my answer is, then you're not being honest. Okay? I'm just being honest. I'm just being me. Whether you relate to that or not, it's just letting you know who I am. And so that's all that is. I have very, very long days. I wake up at between 4 and 5 a.m. every day. I work all day. I have 3 kids that we take care of, me and my partner, every day. We have multiple pets and animals that we take care of every day. And I'm doing a lot of work on social media that I do every day, and a lot of writing personally that I do every day. And I'm sure a whole bunch of other things that I'm not thinking of. So it's a lot. And just like everybody else, I appreciate my time when I have any of it to myself, and I'm using this time where I could be doing anything else and sitting here creating content to share with the world, essentially, from my mind and my heart, because that's what I feel like I want to be doing. And that's because I'm living in this flow and not dictating, oh, I had to watch this show right now because I'm going to dictate that. No. If it was time to watch the movie or the show, I would be. But right now I'm doing this. So you're going to say, well, Brian, we're talking about routines, and you just told me to clear my calendar. So how does that work? Well, we have to free ourselves a little bit. We have to free up some space and time and energy. Okay, we have to allow, like I said, there's this mechanism we're all living in called life. Okay, and it's this big spinning wheel, this like a bunch of gears spinning, and it's at work, and we are part of that. Okay, and this experience is supposed to be kind of laid out before us, and we're supposed to see what this experience is. We make it what it is, but it's also set up for us in a sense, to experience certain things, and I call them checkpoints, to hit certain checkpoints and say, aha, I'm here. And you can feel that when you get to these certain checkpoints in life, and you can kind of feel like you can kind of look back and say, like, you can see the chapter that you were just in, right? And how it played out and where it started, and now you come to a close of a certain chapter and now you're moving on, something like that, right? So I call them checkpoints, and we can't really hit these checkpoints as much as we should, because a lot of times, because like I said, we're very, very busy and just stay very distracted with things, and we decide that we're going to do XYZ instead of sit and be, and all of a sudden let the bird fly by you and land next to you and have a spiritual moment where you realize this is a message for me, right? How could you ever experience a moment like that if you're literally just constantly moving and doing and thinking about something else? So clearing our schedules allows us to tap in, allows us to connect more with life, okay? Allows us to be more on the page that we need to be. This is the start of feeling better, feeling healthier, and having a happier day. So, what we're really talking about, like I said, is a daily routine. And the simplest thing to start your day for your daily routine is when you wake up. Here's another challenge. Before you get out of bed, your challenge to yourself is to gain enough awareness within yourself. Bring it in. Bring it in. I know you just woke up, you had your dream or your whatever. Bring in the awareness and take control first thing in the morning before you get out of bed. Consciously take control of your awareness, your surroundings, and I want you to say at least 3 things to yourself or out loud if you want to that you are grateful for in that very moment. So for example, I'm going to wake up. I just had my sleep, whatever that was. It's different every time for each person, but whatever that was, I just had it. I'm waking up, my eyes are opening. May I take a nice couple deep breaths because I'm consciously going to take control right away. And I'm going to say I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for waking up. And I'm grateful that I get to spend another day making memories. I'm going to put that intention and that love out there for those things. It instantly starts you on the perfect path that day. It's up to you to keep it going. A day is a long time, but realistically, it's just a handful of hours that you got to get through. And I don't say got to get through like it's a bad thing, but realistically, it's a handful of hours that you need to make it through and get to that bed again with a smile on your face, and you've won. You've won. You've done it right. And what's going to happen is you keep having days like that, and you're going to find yourself exactly where you want to be. Okay? So the first thing is taking that control and of your awareness and saying what you're grateful for. Okay. What I find is that the start of our days, the way that we begin them, drastically and dramatically impacts the rest of our days. The rest of our day, excuse me. So, it's like each day when you wake up is like the beginning of the race. And it's like when they shoot the gun off and it's time to start. And it's not a sprint, okay? Some days it feels like it is. But again, it's at your pace. It needs to be at your pace. And if it's not, you need to be asking yourself why, and I need to start taking some control back of that pace. But the gun goes off and it's like a race. And you're moving. If you fall behind at the beginning, you have to spend the entire rest of the race making up that time and that distance, don't you? And the day then becomes a battle. It becomes exhausting. It becomes a fight. This is how a lot of us start our days off, whether intentional or not. And again, if you take that if you have that conscious awareness in the morning, then it shouldn't be intentional, should it? But I can give you an example. I have a 2-year-old right now. I could think that, I'm going to get 6 hours of sleep, which for me would be amazing. But then he's waking up 2 or 3 times during the middle of the night, and then he wakes up at 2 hours earlier than I had planned, and all of a sudden, I have to start my day. And I still have all the things I got to do, but guess what? I didn't get the rest I thought I was going to. There comes that expectation again, right? I can get mad at that situation. I can jump up out of bed and the day's already defeated me, and what do? No, doesn't matter. I'm going to take that conscious awareness in, bring my surroundings in, say what I'm grateful for, get up. I'm already ahead of the race. Nothing's defeated me. That's just what the day presented me with today. And that's what I have to deal with. So I did all the right things. I'm getting out of bed the same way. And now my attitude and my heart's in the right place to deal with the circumstances that I'm dealt. I'm ahead of the race. I'm not making up any time. Okay? What we find is if we can wake up and start our day in a positive way and keep heading in that direction, is that the day becomes very smooth. It becomes very smooth, very easy. You'll find yourself back at home at the end of the day, eating your dinner, watching your show, ready for bed, and you'll say, that was a great day. Boom. You got a smile on your face. You won. You did it. If we start off behind, like I said, it's a battle. It's a fight. It's uphill all day. It's exhausting. And at the end of the day, we're going to find all kinds of excuses as why it sucked, or why it was hard, or why we can't stand it, or this or that, or whatever the problems were, and make it all these excuses, and then we're going to bed defeated. Are we smiling? No. And we're in another bad place, thinking this is what our life has become, this awful thing. It's all about your choices. It's all about your choices and your routine. If you started off with that routine every day, we can see how it can be helpful to us, can't we? So like I said, I don't schedule out my day. I don't try to decide what I'm going to do when at what time, and unless there's certain things, like I say, that require appointments, or they require certain events have certain dates and things like this. I get that, but I leave it as open as I can, to allow for all of that time and space that I can if I need it. Okay? Because I don't want to fall behind. I don't want to be at the end of the day feeling like I'm behind and not in a good place. So the routine really is, I guess, boils down to a morning routine, a start of your day routine. Because the start of your day, if we can just do these little things, sets us up to keep heading in that direction. And then it's not really a routine the rest of the day. It's just keeping up with the positivity and the gratefulness and the doing the best you can. At the end of the day, that's where the routine comes back in. So at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, it's pretty similar. It's making sure that we're in full conscious control. We're not just passing out. If we just pass out, we have not taken into consideration the entire day that we just had. And we want to do that, or else, again, we're selling ourselves short. Because there's reason to process and think about the events that we just went through before we go to bed and have a whole nother day of events. Okay, we want to process this as this was a day that I had today. What happened to me? How was it? What did I go through? What did I learn? What kind of things did I experience? And we want to be in that conscious control again of our awareness. And we also, again, at the end of the day, want to say our thanks. What are we grateful for? What were we grateful for our day? And what are we grateful for in this moment now that we are safe and home and ready to call it a day, call it a night, so to speak. What are we grateful for? So, for example, I'm grateful that I stayed safe today. I am grateful that I remained healthy today. And I'm grateful that I have my home and a bed to sleep in this evening. Boom. I've just processed the day. I'm in full conscious awareness and control of my thoughts and my experience, and I'm grateful, and I put out that intention again. A routine in the morning, a routine in the evening, smiles on both ends, and fill it in between with the experience. And again, it's not about dictating or expecting what that experience is, because you're going to be let down more times than not. Trust me, because life is always going to have bigger plans in store than you could ever imagine. And if we can't get on track and on page with that, that's where it becomes a battle and a back and forth. We have to get in flow with this ride that we're on. Okay? So I guess in a sense that really sums up what a routine means to me and what my routines are. there isn't much more to a routine for me on a daily basis. There's things I do throughout the day as far as intentionalizing things, as far as being positive, as far as being helpful on a physical level. Okay, because it's not just all thinking and spiritual. It's we're living in a physical world and we're having physical experiences. So I always say this: doing physical things like picking up trash as you see it along the road, or when you're out and about, doing things like that has a real effect. It's proving to yourself that those things that you're grateful for and saying every day aren't just bullshit, but that you actually mean it. And it's letting life know, again, those gears that are spinning, it's you're doing the next thing for that checkpoint and saying, I got it, I'm doing it, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to throw this bottle away that was sitting there on the ground, and let life know, and let everyone know, and let myself know I got this, and I get it, and I'm doing it. And your life keeps unfolding in that right positive direction where all of our dreams are coming true. So, I love you, and I appreciate you, and I am very grateful for your time and our time together. And once again, I hope that you've learned a lot from this chat and have a lot to think about and can apply some of these things to your own life and start seeing the results of their positive actions that come from doing these things. Because that's what, in a sense, even myself, when you have the proof in front of you, it means a whole lot more, doesn't it? And it validates, doesn't it? So when you start doing these things and you start seeing the impact and the results of them for yourself, that's something, again, you can't buy. And I can't hand you, okay? That's something that you have to do for yourself and see for yourself. And when you do that, you're going to start seeing your life turn around, and I'm excited for that. And you can go ahead and share that information with the person that you care about and let them know, hey, there's a better way, and there's a way we can be happy. Okay? So I love you. Have a great night. Have a great rest. Keep saying your thanks. Keep being helpful. Keep being honest. Keep working hard. You got this, and I got you. I love you.